Okay, I tend to ramble at times, so I'm going to try and make a shorter video on producing a brass instrument type of patch using the TAL-U-NO-LX app on the iPad. And this is a Juno type sounding app. So right now everything's at 0 or neutral with all the settings, so you're not going to hear anything right now when I press the keys. So you see the keys lighting up on the app, but no sound. So we're going to open up the VCF by turning the frequency, cutoff frequency, all the way up. Let's turn off the arpeggiator. You can hear sound. Now if we go to the VCA, the voltage controlled amplifier, and we change it to envelope, you're not going to hear anything but a click, if anything at all, because it's controlled by the envelope, and all of the controls on the envelope are down, which means that any level excuse me any level is going to be 0. The amplitude's going to be 0 because it's being controlled to the envelope and all levels are down. But if you increase the sustain, at that level you get 100% of the sound. There's lower. If you increase the attack, it'll fade in. As soon as it reaches the top level, it stops. So that's because it follows an ADSR envelope type. So you can imagine that curve going up, and then it reaches the top, and then it's got nothing, so it drops straight off down. You can make an AD envelope by increasing the decay. Then it goes down and it disappears slowly because it's decaying at a slower rate. If I go all the way up with the decay, it immediately reaches the top level and then it slowly decays. So I can actually make that decay time shorter, so it'll be a shorter note, about half. And you can use each of those with the sustain. That's a more pronounced drop. And then there's the release. So use all those together. Okay, so we've got going to the DCO section, pressing these pads here turns each type of oscillator on and off. So we want the sawtooth, which is what was already on. From there, we can increase the resonance. at this point, you're hearing a resonance at full value. So you get that very kind of sharp tone produced by the filter. Turn on the chorus. Let's reduce the resonance. Turn on the arpeggiator. Now, if I turn up the reverb here, you're going to get more, can add interest to the sound. If I add delay, it'll thicken the sound to a point where the delay becomes big enough that you start to hear individual notes being played. If I take the reverb back, you'll hear the difference a lot more easily. So what happened there was I increased the time, and then in the delay section, and then I increased and decreased the tempo. And because there is feedback is the number of produces. It increases the number of repeats that you hear through a feedback loop in the delay. And so for a short period of time, you hear more, the faster repeats according to the arpeggiator. So just an interesting effect, use of the synth. We can change the envelope, the strength of the envelope, how it affects the cutoff frequency. Now, what I did there was I changed the VCA back to gate. So the ADSR only affects the voltage-controlled filter, the VCF. So that's only the cutoff frequency changing. Modulation. So what I did there was I take the envelope back down so you could more easily hear the modulation due to the LFO on the cutoff frequency. So what's happening there is the modulation affects the cutoff frequency, but you hear less of a pronounced effect as the cutoff frequency reaches its maximum value. Yeah. And then we go back to keyboard tracking. I find a lot of the time with keyboard tracking, if you make that change, it's not always immediately apparent, but you can tell by quickly moving the keyboard tracking up and down when the level is up that it definitely has an effect on the filter. So yeah, I think that's good for now. You can play with other settings and see what happens.